Hello everyone, Jen Dubell here for Country Craft Creations, and today I am sharing with you a quick and simple memory album that you can make as a Father's Day gift. And also this is going to start a series of projects that I'm going to be creating to reintroduce some of the amazing exclusive Country Craft Creations paper collections. This project is being done in Retro Min, which is perfect for Father's Day. So if you have this in your stash, pull it out and make this folio with me, or make something else with it, because it's wonderful paper for Father's Day. This paper is very retro, and it has a lot of fun patterns, and I just absolutely love this. So as I said, there's a lot of newcomers to the Scrapbookers group, and because of that, I just wanted to show everyone how beautiful some of these Country Craft Creations paper collections are, if you haven't already seen them, or if they just, you have them in your stash and you haven't thought what you could do with them, or don't want to cut them yet. I'm just going to be doing a few projects over the next few weeks to show you different things you can do with them and just reintroduce those beautiful papers. So this is Retro Min, and that is what I am making this with. And I will give you a quick sneak peek on the one I'm going to do next. I am going to be making an album using Majestic Dreams, this gorgeous horse-themed paper. It has been in the Country Craft Creations store for a while, and it's absolutely beautiful. As you can see, the imagery, the cut-aparts, the horses, it's just such vivid detail. Beautiful colors. So I will be creating a project with that next. And also, before I get into the album that I am going to create with you for Father's Day, I just want to let you all know that I will be creating the tutorial for a folio for my cigar box that I shared. And also, I will be away for a week, so it will be a little bit of time. I'm going to my daughter's college graduation this weekend, and I will be back in a week, and I will start these projects up again with the older papers and reshare them. But let's dive into this fun folio that you can make for a dad. Now, I say folio, but it is technically an album. I have used the lighter weight chipboard and black cardstock here, Artisan cardstock, and I have done the lay flat method. So this album, this is a 5 by 8.5, and we have a 1.5 inch spine, or wait a second here. Yes, 1.5 inch spine. So I wanted to keep this. Anyone who follows my tutorials, normally my covers are embellished with flowers and just really fancy schmancy. Because this is masculine, I didn't want to go too crazy with embellishing it. So this is very simple to make, and also fairly simple to look at. It's very masculine. So on the cover, I've used the Argyle print, and I've made a little wrap chipboard, which I do have in my tutorial how I did this, and some fussy cuts from the paper. I used the flip side of that Argyle paper for the spine, and then on the back, that Argyle paper again, and this card, which was fussy cut from the paper. Also, my mats in this are all of a teal cardstock that I had in my stash, but I will tell you, there is a gorgeous My Colors cardstock, this color, that you can get from the store. For the closure, I've used the natural seam binding, and I will just dive in here and show you this. So, when you open this up, like I said, fairly simple. This has a easy stack the deck 4-page system, which becomes 8, a waterfall in the back, a pocket in the front, and lots of photo mats. So starting with this pocket here, I've just embellished that with one of the fun little cut-aparts from the paper. We have our fun little dog here that we have on the front, and then backed with Artisan cardstock and the teal I've used. Some paper and some of the cut-aparts to make some photo mats. And this one here, I will tell you, these are 4¼ by 4¼ so you could get a fun little photo on that one. This one is 4 inches by 7 inches, so you could get a couple small photos on there, or you could just do one large one and then add a little tab of paper so that you could do some journaling. Again, we have a fun little photo mat here. And then this photo mat, I've used one of the tag cut-aparts and just adhered it so that it could be used as a tuck spot. That gorgeous car background. And these corner pockets, you can create your own corner pockets if you like. This is a die that I had in my stash that makes these. It just makes this fun little corner pocket. It does everything for you. I do believe it's a Sizzix die. And I believe it is still out there. If you don't have this one, like I said, you can cut your own corners. You can round them or choose not to. On our next page here, this is a full fishing spread. So we have a little tuck spot here on our journaling card. And these photo mats in here are, these are all going to be 4 1/4 by 7 1/4. And then the teal paper underneath, or whatever color you're using, is 4 inches by 7 inches. And then, like I said, this is just one of the fun little tuck spots that you can put a picture. And then I have a smaller one here and another one of those. I just tuck into my corners. Next, we have this fun spread. Again, 2 of those photo mats and a smaller square one that's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. I've used one of those cut-aparts here and just adhered it to part of the pocket. It helps hold down the page. And on the background here, we have this plaid and then the flip side. On our next spread here, I took this bigger page and I just cut it down, and then I fussy cut out, and I go over this in my tutorial. I fussy cut part of it out so that this whole spread would show all the way across, and you can put a rather large photo here and here, and I left that like that because I just love the way this looks. Here we have another fun. We have the cars in the background, another corner pocket, and a journal or a photo mat, excuse me. And again, it has a tuck spot using one of those cut-aparts. For our waterfall here, I've cut that belt out of the paper, and this is one of the cut-aparts. There's a magnet inside of here, and then we have a scene created by cutting 1/2-inch strips of this piece of paper. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 waterfall pages. And then that beautiful image below the waterfall. Like I said, that all magnetizes. So that is my album. I am going to tie this shut and stay with me for the tutorial. Okay, so let's make our cover. And for that, we're going to use, like I said, chipboard along with black Artisan cardstock. And I've already prepared these, but I will let you know when all of the measurements are. So the chipboard pieces we have here, again, this is the lighter weight chipboard, I do believe. Actually, I think I may have used, no, this is the lightweight. Okay, so these measure 5 inches by 8 1/2, and you'll need 2 of those. And then we have a 1 1/2 by 8 1/2 inch spine. Okay, so for the black Artisan cardstock for the spine, you need to do the lay flat method. You can do this in any method you want, but I'm going to do mine in the lay flat. So that you will need a 4 1/2 by 10 1/2 piece. And then for the cover and the back, these pieces will be 7 inches by 10 1/2 inches. So, yeah, 10 1/2. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and put this together, and then I will be back. All right, so now we have a piece of this, I'm going to call this teal, I guess, from my cardstock stash. This is an 8 3/8 by 11 5/8 piece. Actually, it's 11 1/2. So this is going to be the lining. I've already done my lay flat method, and I am going to place this on here to be my lining. Okay, so how I want to do this is I am going to put glue on here all the way around. I'm going to put it on the paper itself. And this is a slicker paper I'm using, so bear with me for just a moment because it probably will slide all over the place. There are some beautiful Artisan cardstock and My Colors cardstock choices that do go really well with this retro min paper. I just do not have any at this time in my stash, so I'm going to use this. My go-to is always Artisan or My Colors, just because they're very good quality. So hopefully this holds up, because this paper, like I said, it's a cheaper paper from my stash. So you just want to lay that down and make sure that you have pretty much the same amount of space on both sides here, which I do not. So I'm going to slide that over just a bit. And once you get that lined up, there we go. That's better. Once you get that lined up, then you can take a smoothing tool such as this one and just get that glue all burnished. You can also use score tape for this. I just find that the art glitter glue tends to give me a little bit more open time so that I can bend where I need to bend to make this stretch if it's needed. Got glue all over the place here. And so once I have that all burnished out, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a bone folder and I'm going to find my spine and I'm going to press gently because I don't want to break through this paper. If I was using Artisan, I could probably put a little more pressure on it. But you never want to push too hard, and it is paper and it'll break. So just be mindful of your paper. We're just going to bend that to fit, and I'm trying to get that worked really well. And you can bend it a few times. This method takes a little longer, but it's a lot less of a chance of breaking your paper. And as you can see, my paper is not laying down properly. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue up underneath a few spots here, all the way across here. It's not laying down. So I'm just going to add some more. And try to burnish that down a little better because I want that to stick. I don't want that sticking up like that. It's not appealing. And it seems to be fine on the bottom. So I'm going to let that dry for just a minute. Okay. Next, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to put some mats on the cover, the back, and the spine. And I'm using this same color. And I already have these cut over here. And I will tell you what these measure. So for the cover and the back, we have 4 7/8 by 8 3/8. And I am just going to put glue on the back of these and I'm going to lay them down. And these are my mats. Again, 4 7/8 by 8 3/8. Let's burnish that out nicely. And then our spine mat is going to be 1 3/8. And then, of course, it is that 8 3/8. line that up nicely and close to the top. You can use the top and bottom of the cover we already put on. I like doing it this way, and then I can line these up as I go. Put this last one on here. See, if you do them in a line like this, you can then look at the last one you put on, and it makes it a lot easier to line these up. I just love this color up against this black. And it went so well with the paper when I was pulling paper from my stash to match this. I had a heck of a time, but as you can see, this matches this very nicely. So this is what we will have for covers, but I'm not going to do that yet because I don't want to mess them up. Next, we're going to add some pages in here. And we have a 1.5 inch spine. There's going to be waterfalls on these sides, but we want to put a couple pages in here too, just for extra stuff, maybe some pockets. And I think that what I'm going to do is do this off camera really quick. I'm going to do some cutting and then I'll be back. All right, so I've cut the paper off camera, and that is black Artisan cardstock, and this is going to be our pages. So we're going to have one that measures, these will both be 8¼ inches tall, but you'll need one that is 10.5 and one that is 10. So 10 by 8¼ 10.5 by 8¼ What we want to do, place these on our scoreboard. We're going to do this in the stack the deck method, it's called. And we're just going to put this 2-page booklet in here, which is going to give us actually 4 pages. Excuse me, that's going to give us 8 pages total. So we'll have 8 pages, we'll have a pocket page, and then we'll have a waterfall. So we're going to measure this out. We have a 5-inch book, so we want 4 3/4 for our pages. So these will be 4 3/4 by 8¼ which is perfect for a 4x6 landscape photo. Even some 5x7s might fit if the white is cut off the edges. So now we have 4 3/4. We want an inch in the middle here. So we're going to go to 5 3/4. And that, if you turn it this way, you will see is going to leave 4 3/4 on this side with that inch. The next one we're going to do this one at 4 3/4. Okay. And then we want to go to 5 1/4 because we want a 1/2 inch in between. So that leaves us with a 1/2 inch in the middle. Yes, it's bigger, but we will be putting pockets possibly in here, and it just gives you more space. You could add another one if you wanted, or you could make them a different size. But as you can see, this is going to leave us a 1/4 inch of space in our book. I'm going to put it up against the screen. You can probably see it better. So there'll be a 1/4 inch, and then the spine, a 1/4 inch, and then the next one, it's a 1/4 inch away on both sides of this one. Okay. And how we're going to put those together is simple. We're just going to take the one with the 1/2 inch with this 2-page system. It's much easier than if you're doing multiples. And you could, like I said, put more pages than this if you want. I am going to grab some score tape that's a little skinnier. Let's see here. So I'm just going to take this score tape. You could do this with glue too. This is just less messy. And I'm going to run this right down that 1/2 inch space that we scored. Okay. And I use this stack the deck method a lot. It means you don't have to make an actual accordion spine system for your pages. And if you're only going to put a couple pages, this is just a lot quicker and simpler. The only thing is that you do have to keep in mind your size of your spine. So if you have a 1.5 inch spine, you could do 1/8 inch spaces on either side as you go and have more pages. This is just what I chose. So I'm going to place this on my board so that those score lines are at 5 and 6 so that I can see my inch. Then I place this down I'm going to put this on 5 1/4 and 5 3/4. I'm going to line them up before I push down my paper. Make sure everything lines up. And then we will fold this over, and you can see that nice 1/4 inch space. Then we're going to pull this one in and do the same. Just burnish out your score lines. Turn back, and we're going to do this one. See, nice 1/4 inch space. Like I said, if you didn't want that much space, you could make your middle larger. You could score a larger space, and then you can make only 1/8 of an inch spaces. I would suggest not going any lower than that, unless you're not going to put anything on the pages. You do need some space. So then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this so that this whole spine system is in front of me. And I'm going to burnish that down nicely. And then we're going to add some score tape. And I'm going to go back to my 1/2 inch score tape for this. You can also do this with glue. It's just messier. We're going to run 2 rows of 1/2 inch score tape down that spine. And I'm just going to burnish all that tape down. And I'm going to peel this back, but I'm not going to peel it all the way down. And the reason for that is I want to make sure I study it in the book before I burnish it all down. And I'm noticing that this is a little off. So I want to make sure that my pages are even. So I'm just going to peel these back partially at the top and just fold them kind of over and off to the side. And you'll be able to pull them out once we put the book in. So now I'm going to put the book in, and you can see that my score lines here for my 1 1/2 inch spine, they line up at 5 1/8 and 6 3/4. And we need this to have a 1/4 of an inch of space. So 5 1/8, the 1/4 inch is going to be 5 3/8. So you want to line your book up, leave a little bit of space at the top and a little bit of space at the bottom. And we want to go over to that 5 3/8 mark. And before we peel our tape off, just make sure you're getting the same. This is not quite right here. Okay, so now once you have where you can see that it's even and there's a 1/4 of an inch, we're just going to pull on that score tape and pull it out of there. And then you can go through and burnish your pages one at a time. So just burnish them down, push that glue down in the middle as you go. And see, there's our nice little 1/4 inch score line on that side. Now we have this nice little book system here. All right. Next, we will do some decorating. So for the front and the back, I have chosen this gorgeous piece with the dog at the top and the couple at the back. So that's what we're going to do. This will end up being under our waterfall, which will work out great. All right, I apologize. I forgot to cut mats for this, and we're going to need these to be a black mat. All right, so now we're going to add a little pocket to the front here, and this is black Artisan that measures 5 3/4, and it measures 3 1/2 inches tall. It was scored on both sides at 1/2 of an inch and across the bottom at 1/2 of an inch. We're just going to miter the corners of this, just like so. And then we want to fold in our sides and then our bottom. Just go ahead and burnish all of that down. Now you can use tape, score tape like I'm going to use, or you can choose to use glue for your pockets. I just like score tape. And I'm just going to run a piece of score tape on each one of my 1/2-inch hinges. Fairly simple. Okay, I'll just burnish all that tape down and peel it off. Yeah, peel off the backing, that is. Okay, bring in your book, and we just want to line this up with the decorative paper. So we're going to leave that little bit of black on the outside. It's totally fine. And we're just going to adhere that just like so. All right. So now you have this fun little hinged pocket here. And we will decorate that with some paper as well. And I will probably use the plaid that's up here. Or let's see here. I'm looking through my scraps here. I think we'll use this plaid because this happens to be just the perfect size scrap. So what I'm going to need to change this to side is great, but I'm going to cut this down to 2 7/8. And the width, I can tell you, our pocket is 3 inches by 4 3/4. So this is going to be 4 5/8 by 2 7/8. I'm just going to go ahead and glue that pocket on. And we'll embellish this pocket a little more with one of the fun little cut-aparts from the collection. I have lots of those. So I'm just going to put that on there like so. This will make a great gift for a dad for Father's Day. Fill this with pictures. Absolutely fun. Okay, so to embellish the pocket a little further, I'm going to take a strip of leftover black Artisan cardstock that I have here. This is just a scrap. And this is going to fit right across my pocket. Nice and straight. And then I'm going to take this fun little guy, this fishing gear, and I'm going to first glue it to its backing that I also cut out on my scan and cut machine. So first I'm going to glue it to the black backing. And then I am going to glue it to my page. Into the pocket so that we have a nice little added, go right in the middle with that actually. Yeah, there we go. Just a little added embellishment to our pocket. I'm going to go that just a wee bit crooked. There we go. All right, moving along. So I'm going to make up something to stick in this pocket. I'm not quite sure what yet, if it'll be a tag. Lots of different options for these taller, skinnier. All right, so now we're going to finish this little album up. We're going to do the cover. But first, I'm going to make a wrapped chipboard piece that's going to have some of the paper on it, and this is going to be on my cover. So how I've done that is I've cut the small journaling card that is on the page, the cut aparts, down to 2 3/4, or excuse me, 2 7/8 by 4. It was 3. I'm not quite sure how it got off there. But then the chipboard piece I have here is heavy chipboard, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and black cardstock, which I would suggest using Artisan. However, I did run out. Most of the book is done in Artisan, but I did not have any left for this piece large enough. So I have that on order. But the black piece of paper is 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. So basically a 1/2 inch all the way around. And then just glue your chipboard down to that and flip it over. And since I'm using a cheaper paper, I'm going to have to do this really gently. But I want to, kind of like we do with the lay flat method, I just want to get that paper started wrapping around my chipboard without breaking the paper. So you've got to be pretty gentle, just so I can see where all of those folds need to go. All right, and then I'm just going to take it and I'm going to push it down on my desk here and make those folds all the way around. By loosening it up a little bit with the bone folder, I'm able to not take a chance of breaking my paper because it's actually stretching it a little. And we're just going to miter the corners just like we do in the lay flat method, leaving about 1/8 of an inch at the end. Don't cut all the way to the corner of the chipboard. Okay. And then you're just going to start with the long ends. Add glue right along that chipboard right there in the score. That's also going to help us. And then I'm just going to push that up and place it and then burnish it out. Get rid of any excess glue, which I seem to have a lot. And then I'm going to do the other side the exact same way. Just run a nice thin line of glue right down up against that chipboard and onto the 1/2 inch flap. Push your glue, like flatten it out on that line there. And then as always, with any type, we're going to tuck our little extra pieces in. This is what it ensures that we covered the whole corner of the chipboard. And then we do the same thing we did on the sides with our ends. Just run that glue along both sides, both flaps. And then just kind of push that glue in. Burnish it out as good as possible and do the same on the other side. And if you notice that you didn't cut enough off when you mitered or didn't push it in far enough on the last step, you can kind of shape it with a bone folder. And see, now we have this nifty little black chipboard, which is going to raise our photo up a little bit. And I am going to just put my photo, my little journaling card, in the center of this piece of chipboard. And this is going to leave about a little more than 1/8 of an inch, almost 1/4 of an inch, all the way around the photo. And see, now this looks really nice, and rather than raising it up with foam and taking the chance of that foam showing, this wrap chipboard method, I use it all the time. I love it. So I'm going to set that aside and let it dry pretty well, and then we're going to just do the cover and the spine, and of course our back and the ribbon. So for the cover, we have this lovely argyle print. And I have 2 of those. These will measure 4 3/4 by 8 1/4. And you'll need 2 of those. And we want to place our ribbon on here first because we want to make sure that I know where it's going to go. And I've chosen some of the seam binding in the, wish I could remember the exact color. I will put that in my comments or on a caption. So this is about what I'm going to need, and I don't really think I'm going to go through the spine on this one because this isn't masculine, so I think I have a little more seam binding here than what I actually am going to need. So I'm going to cut this down a little bit, and then I'm going to cut it in half. Okay. Now for this part, I'm going to grab some score tape over here. And I just want to put a little piece of score tape right about the middle. So you can measure it out or you can eyeball it. Our teal piece here is 8 3/8. So our book is 8 1/2. So 4 1/4 is right about where you want the middle spot. So you can take your ruler and you can mark that 4 1/4 right there if you want to, so that you know right where that ribbon is going to stick. And then just sit some score tape right on that spot so that you can hold the ribbon down while we're gluing. And I am going to grab, I don't see my pokey tool. Well, I'll try to use my fingernails that I don't have many of right now. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, so then we just want to take that and put our ribbon right there on that. Okay. And we're going to add glue to one of our argyle pieces. And I will tell you, there is a gorgeous teal artisan, or excuse me, teal My Colors in the Country Craft Creations store that matches. That's almost the same as the paper that I am using. I just didn't have any on hand. And I really wanted to do this Father's Day project with you. So I opted to use this other teal that I had that was similar in my stash. So you're just going to line that up and burnish that all down. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side here. And one thing I like to do is I like to put my spine piece on first. And the reason I do that is, where did I put it? Is because it makes it easier for you to line up with your other papers. And I've chosen the flip side of the argyle with the little men and their the fathers in their suits and those fun little shoes. And we're just going to place this down on our spine. As soon as I get this down, I forgot to measure it for you, but I will do that. And see, you can line it up with the paper that's already laid down. If you do these, this, and this, then you can actually line your papers up as you go. It's just a little tip. So this is going to be 8 1/4, and for the width on this, I went with 1 1/4. So we have 1 1/4 by 8 1/4 for this portion. And then we're just going to put our back piece on here the same way that we did the other. So I'm going to measure where that 4 1/4 mark is. Right here. And I'm going to put a little piece of score tape there to hold down my, and you can use any type of score tape, any size, as long as it'll hold on to the ribbon while you're gluing so that you don't have to worry about any slippage. All right, let me put my other half of ribbon on here. And then we're also going to glue those ends of those ribbons too, because we don't want them to fray. Just going to add the glue to the back portion of this. And I'm going to align it with the last one I did, which is the spine piece. And there we go. So that is our main construction complete. I am going to go ahead and decorate my cover with this. And I'm going to add some other things to it. But for now, I want to put this on. And I'm going to do that with glue. Now, I would suggest you can use hot glue, but this paper is a little bit slicker, and over time that hot glue is not going to last. It's just going to pop right off the front of the album, which could cause some damage to your album, and that would not be any fun. So I am just going to set this right about the middle of my page, glued down. And then I fussy cut a couple of the cars from the collection. So I have a green one here, and somewhere around here I have a blue one. I just don't seem to see where oh, here it is. Goodness. So I'm going to decide, I think the blue one kind of pops a little bit better. I'm not sure. I think we'll put the green one on the back side here. So this is on the back of my book. I'm going to put this fun car just down here in the corner. I hope I'm in the camera frame. I'm not. There you go. So I'm just going to put this car right here. It's just fussy cut from the paper. So there we have that. I'm going to close up my book really quick, and then I will decide what other embellishments I might put on the cover. I may not put anything. I mean, it's simple. It's for a Father's Day gift, so it's, you know, needs to be more masculine, and I don't think it needs a lot of things on here. Obviously no flowers, but I'm not really sure that flowers would be appropriate. I'm going to put the car here. We're going to add a little bit of foam tape. Sorry, as I do this as I go, I'm going to grab some foam adhesive pieces from my stash down here, and I'm going to run those along just the bottom portion of the car here. Let me make sure I'm in the frame again. So now I just have those down along the bottom of my car because I'm going to put this overlapping the picture a little. So we are just going to butt those right up to the edge. And look at that. How fun is that? And I'll probably add a couple more things here. Maybe a stripe of another paper or black across here. Not quite sure what I'm doing yet, but I will be showing this at the beginning. So whatever I did, you'll see it there. So that is the album, and I hope that you create one of these or something similar. Like I said, this is a quick and simple project to whip up for Dad, and it's a fun memory book to have. So happy paper crafting and have a great day.